Kanye West is back in the headlines as he returns to Twitter to share his thoughts. And it seems like people are finally ready to believe that he's a victim of MKUltra mind control, because he's posting the evidence for everyone to see. Kanye claims that he was mentally misdiagnosed and drugged out of his mind in order to make him a manageable, well-behaved celebrity. Kanye shared screenshots of a text message he received from someone called Harley Pasternak to help prove his point. In the text, Harley offers Kanye two options. They can either have a loving conversation, but it must be based in facts, not some crazy dumb stuff Kanye heard from a friend or on Twitter. Or, Harley says, I will have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to Zombieland forever. Playdates with the kids just won't be the same. Kanye's been trying to tell the public about his situation for a long time. Most people will remember when he tweeted that the movie Get Out was about him. And now, this text message gives it a bit more meaning.
We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go. Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit.
She'd take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis.
So look, I go do my research. Apparently, a whole bunch of brothers been missing in this suburb. But it's cool. Bro, how you not scared of this, man?
Couldn't see no brother around here.
Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Get out! Yo!
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Now you're in the sunken place.
Phase one was the hypnotism. That's how they sedate you. Phase two is this. Mental preparation. It's basically a psychological pre-op.
Pre-op.
Or phase three, the transplantation. Well, partial, actually. The piece of your brain connected to your nervous system needs to stay put, keeping those intricate connections intact. So you won't be gone. Not completely. A sliver of you will still be in there somewhere. Limited consciousness. You'll be able to see and hear what your body is doing, but your existence will be as a passenger. An audience. You'll live in
The sunken place.
Now you're in the sunken place.
Yeah, that's what she calls it. Now, I'll control the motor function, so I'll be
Me.
His quirky character makes it easy to write him off as unusual or unwell. But beneath the surface, there's a much bigger story. So who's Harley Pasternak? According to Google, he's a fitness and nutrition specialist, a motivational speaker, and a personal trainer who has a long list of celebrity clientele. But he actually has a military background, and at one point he worked for the Department of National Defense.
And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
well, when you say drugs, are that like performance enhancing drugs, or are they
all
just
kinds of drugs?
Oh, right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was. So I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things. So we looked at a drug called modafinil, which was for narcoleptics. So if you give a soldier this drug, how long could they stay awake for without having any health detriment?
Is that used now as one of these brain drugs? I've heard the name before somewhere.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Modafinil, it will keep you awake, but it's not a stimulant.
Really?
So if a special forces person has to stay awake for 3 nights waiting for the right opportunity to do whatever they have to do, we could give them modafinil and it would keep them alert.
Hearing Harley talk about his past research with substances just screams MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a mind control program conducted by the government using a range of techniques. It's often brushed off as the LSD experiments on military personnel, but it goes much deeper.
The CIA was seeking a new weapon aimed not at the body, but at the mind.
Trauma-based total mind control. This is a type of mind control which turns the victim into a puppet, a slave. This is a type of mind control which is so horrendous that it dehumanizes a person to be a robot, an expendable piece of machinery that they can throw away.
Trauma is the conditioning base that was used to set in the mind control. And the trauma done very early on is something that actually splits and shatters the psyche of a small child who is unable to withstand that much torture or trauma at a satanic ritual or through sexual abuse in family, or whatever the list of all the different traumas. What happens is that when that happens, the mind splits into different segments. And it's sort of understanding all of this really demystifies all of the sensationalism that has been publicly portrayed about multiple personality disorder. And I will explain to you that through not only healing my own mind of that, but working with other survivors, that it's merely something that has happened out of someone not being able to take everything that was dished out. And so it's like the mind erects amnesic barriers around information and different scenarios so that as a protection, when that thing happens again, that event, then the person will kind of go down that path in their mind. And the programmers knew all about this. This was not some happenstance programming that just was done in some kind of an experiment, although the experiments were ongoing. And as many of you already know, and those of you that don't know, during Nazi Germany, during the war, when all these people were in the concentration camps, we had people like Joseph Mengele, and many of the Nazi doctors and scientists were actually doing mind experiments and brain experiments on people in the concentration camps. And the information that these Nazi doctors gleaned in the concentration camps was what has been the foundation for what they're doing here today in our country. And for you to understand how that has all happened, our government, actually the CIA, flew a lot of these doctors, the perpetrators, after the Nuremberg trials. Instead of being prosecuted, they were given immunization from prosecution. And our CIA actually flew these Nazi doctors to our country and gave them immunity and set them up with research grants and all sorts of mega funding in our universities and military bases. And they continued not only their further research on the mind, but they also continued their expertise on programming people within the military, within NASA, people that are out of the private sector like myself, where I was certainly not part of the military or any intelligence group, but because of the intergenerational nature of the group of people that they needed the population to use, I believe that I was selected. And so we have now civilians being taken without their knowledge and awareness, not only to major universities, but also to military bases around the country and the world, where they are put under mind control.
High-profile celebrities become CIA mind control victims as children or teens who are still used by the CIA. The basic objective is to systematically terrorize children until they are forced to dissociate. The torture is the execution of a well-planned, well-thought-out ritual, often performed by close relatives. The only escape for the children is to dissociate, where they will develop a new personality to enable them to endure the abuse. This new personality is very helpful to the abusers. Once the abuse is over, the core personality is not conscious of what happened. Dissociation also serves the purposes of the occult because the children have no day-to-day memories of the atrocities. They go through adolescence and early adulthood with no active memory of what is taking place, but continue in rituals through their teens and early 20s, unaware of their involvement. The victims lead relatively normal lives until they get triggered and flashbacks or nightmares occur. Now keep in mind that this is and always has been about money and power. It's about keeping the drug cartels, violent gangs, human trafficking, sex trade, child trafficking, child porn industry, and human slavery as alive and lucrative as possible.
Mental hospitals are a favorite target for CIA experiments, where unknowing patients are given massive doses of LSD. The studies are so secret that often not even the patient's personal physicians know what is being tested.
What was hideous about those experiments is that they were using a population of people who were suffering from mental illnesses. And then when the people would later report to their psychologists that they felt like their minds were being controlled, this was used as a reason to keep them in the institutions even longer, although technically they were correct.
And LSD is only part of the MK Ultra story. Declassified CIA documents reveal funding between 1953 and 1964 for 149 different sub-projects, many of which combine drugs with other forms of mind control.
The basic idea is that you soften up the person's mind, and then you can get in there and use other techniques, which would include hypnosis, pain, electric shock, sensory deprivation and isolation, straight verbal brainwashing, and threats to control them and manipulate them however you want. So the drugs were just part of the mix. Through hypnosis, mind control, brainwashing, you create a new identity in a person. You create an amnesia barrier between their ordinary identity and the new identity or alter personality. The newly created identity can be used for actual operations, that is, explosives, infiltration, surveillance.
When Kanye had his infamous breakdown back in 2016, he just so happened to be at Harley Pasternak's home. Kanye was then taken to UCLA Medical Center for treatment. Many people have speculated that Kanye was breaking free from his mind control and he was saying too much.
Hey, stop it. Hey, radio, fuck you. Radio, fuck you. Y'all don't want to lose again. A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to. Google lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you. Radio, fuck you. I know it's a lot of real niggas working at radio. Real people. Real program directors with wives and kids that love music, that can't play what they want to play because they've been paid to play that bullshit over and over and over. You know me. I went down 7 years of my life of motherfuckers hating me for saying Beyonce had the best video. Hey baby, it's rock and roll tonight. Y'all might be experiencing a lot of pop shit, but the vibes is back. The prodigal son, Kid Cudi, has returned. The vibes is back. I know it's going to be a lot of conversations after the night. Khaled, I love you. I know you got killers in Miami. Please do not send them at my head. I just want to have a conversation about how we playing radio's game. Khaled, you a real nigga. Khaled, you a real nigga. You got the keys. But as we learn all the politics that niggas was doing for years, Obama couldn't make America great because he couldn't beat him to be who he was. Black men have been slaves. Obama wasn't allowed to do this. Yeah! And still win. He had to be perfect. But being perfect don't always change shit, bro. Being perfect don't always change shit, bro. So when I talk about MTV, let me explain something. I was hurt. Beyonce, I was hurt because I wanted to present a video called Fade. And out of respect, MTV told me, Mr. West, out of respect to you, I will let you know that Beyonce is winning the video tonight for Formation over Hotline Bling and Famous. I am putting my career, my life, my public well-standing at risk when I talk to y'all like this. This is a moment in the Matrix, bro. The vibes is back. The vibes is back. Motherfuckers might feel a way about this tonight. Beyonce, I was hurt. Because I heard that you said you wouldn't perform unless you won Video of the Year over me and over Hotline Bling. In my opinion, now don't go trying to diss Beyonce. She is great. Taylor Swift is great. We are all great people. We are all equal. But sometimes we be playing the politics too much and forgetting who we are. Just to win. Fuck winning. Fuck looking cool. Fuck looking cool. Fuck being cool. Fuck all that, right? I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man. not trying to be the man. I just am a man. The same as everybody here. I ain't above, below, none of y'all. We all equal. We all equal. These is the vibes, bro. This is the future. This is the way of thinking to make America great again.
Tila Tequila was amongst some of the people who believed that Kanye was being institutionalized to be reprogrammed.
I want to talk about like the Kanye West breakdown thing, is like MK Ultra breaking down, and like how he was waking up and they try to like fucking put his ass back to sleep. You know, because you guys think like celebrities are like, oh, I want to be fucking rich and famous, but like, do you have no idea that when you sign up for that shit, you're more of a slave than normal people? Because normal people can still do shit. They're, you know, the only boss you have is like your boss at work. But like celebrities, like they have an illusion like they're all free and stuff, have all this money, but like literally they can't do shit. That's why they have like star whackers. Because when you get out of line, like they'll whack your ass, you know, because like they're providing you so much money and fame and all this shit that you're literally, you gotta do what they tell you to do. And if you step out of line like Kanye West.
The strange tale of Oscar and Emmy nominee Randy Quaid and his wife Evie. For more than a year, they've been on the run, avoiding felony charges in California, saying that they don't want to be targeted by people they call star whackers. Well, this week, after missing yet another court date, Evie forfeited her $500,000 bond. Randy Quaid is joining us exclusively this morning from Vancouver, Canada, their new home. But first, let's go back and give you a look at the trouble facing this Hollywood couple.
Now, wouldn't you know it, the Army cuts my disability pension because they said that the plate in my head wasn't big enough.
If you thought Randy Quaid played memorable characters in his movies, real life is turning out to be much stranger than fiction.
We are not criminals, nor are we fugitives from justice, nor are we crazy.
Quaid and his wife Evie missed a court appearance in Santa Barbara, California this week because they are in Canada seeking asylum, they say, for their protection.
We believe there are to be a malignant tumor of star whackers in Hollywood.
The Quaids believe that people are singling out celebrities to either steal their fortunes or kill them. They believe David Carradine, who was found hanged in a Bangkok hotel room, and Heath Ledger, who died of a drug overdose, were victims of the same murderous conspiracy.
I believe these actors were whacked.
Yeah, so like if they're paying you that much money, like you gotta do what they tell you. You know what I mean? Like you have a little bit of freedom for artistic freedom, if that. But then when you step out of line with the political stuff and like you start waking up and they see that, oh shit, they're coming to whack your ass, fucking knock you over, like pump you up with some fucking pills and like reprogram your brain. Cause it's like, oh shit, his MK Ultra is breaking down. He's starting to speak the truth and he has like a huge following. So they don't want someone like Kanye to like, with that much influence to start waking up the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like I can talk about this shit because I'm not in that world anymore. I don't have any contracts. I'm not obligated to fucking do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm free. And I left that world for a reason. So like, you know, I don't have fucking paparazzis harassing me right now on the fucking street.
This morning, new details are emerging about Kanye West's alleged mental state as he was rushed to the hospital. Heard on this fire department dispatch call obtained by TMZ.
Rescue 41, Psychiatric Emergency, Laurel Avenue.
The 911 call came in around 1:20 p.m. on Monday after West was reportedly acting erratically. Paramedics and the Los Angeles Fire Department rushed to the Hollywood home of his personal trainer.
Kanye West is currently here at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. He's undergoing a psychiatric evaluation after, quote, acting erratically. Yesterday at 1:20 p.m. Pacific time, cops responded to a call for a welfare check, reportedly from Kanye's personal physician. According to a police report, Kanye attempted to assault a staff member at the home of his personal trainer, Harley Pasternak.
Can you tell us anything about what happened with Kanye yesterday?
Sorry.
While Harley keeps tight-lipped, sources say Kanye had calmed down by the time paramedics arrived, but he was encouraged by his management and law enforcement to still go for a psychiatric checkup. Kanye was handcuffed to a stretcher en route to the hospital, which is standard protocol.
UCLA is officially tied to the CIA's MKUltra program. A director of the Neuropsychiatric Institute at UCLA was also involved in the famous LSD experiments, and presumably much more. UCLA appears to be the place to recover. Amanda Bynes, Britney Spears, and Lindsay Lohan are just a few celebrities who have spent time there. Harley Pasternak actually worked with Amanda Bynes. Maybe he sent her a text with the same options he offered Kanye.
Tell me about Kanye. How's he doing? Have you seen him lately?
I went to his house. I was going to go back last week, but we couldn't get together. He had some other stuff he had to do. But I've been to his house, sat down with him for about 6-7 hours, and just walking through his health and recovery. His memory's coming back. Yeah, his memory's coming back, which is super good. And just healing. Spending time with his family. Saint is getting big, and he's walking and playing with toys. So, that invigorates him. His memory's coming back. Yeah, his memory's coming back.
Whilst we're told that MKUltra stopped a long time ago, the evidence suggests otherwise. Repeated symbolism in the media, and sometimes the celebrities themselves, tell us a different story.
High-profile celebrities become CIA mind control victims as children or teens who are still used by the CIA. The victims lead relatively normal lives until they get triggered and flashbacks or nightmares occur. Now, speaking of triggers, as I was going through pictures, I looked at the hands that were posed like butterflies. Butterflies are the symbols for the MKUltra program.
Another telltale sign of MKUltra is mirror symbolism, which can signify multiple compartmentalized personalities. Paramore and Katy Perry practically made carbon copies of their music videos, with both showing versions of their younger selves in a room full of mirrors. Multiple TV screens can also represent a fractured psyche. Ariana Grande makes it much more obvious in her video, as she shows her alter egos as masks. Cage symbolism can also signify MKUltra, as it represents the enslavement that victims experience as they are trapped within their own mind. This symbolism is constantly flashed to our subconscious, along with various different hand gestures. Most people don't think twice about these things, but at some point, you have to stop and wonder why. These celebrities have ulterior motives, and ultimately they are working towards an agenda that isn't any good for the average person. Unless they have broke free from their programming, they are probably just performing to keep the masses distracted and divided.
Their plan is for the mind control slaves to continue to serve the elite, and everyone except these self-appointed elite will begin to live as worker bees. They have some plans for all of you to only be able to think to a certain level. The themes of movies and television and news, radios, newspaper songs have often been strategized and cooked up with not only things to make you think a certain way and feel a certain way about certain people, but also to keep people that are programmed under mind control programming.
This is just a quick listing of the main declassified projects, which started in the early 50s. Bluebird and Artichoke were actually signed into existence by the director of the CIA in April of 1950, 3 months before the start of the Korean War. So the idea that we only got into this in a reactive defensive kind of mode based on what the North Korean and Communist Chinese were doing to our pilots is complete lie, complete disinformation, impossible, not true. So there's a whole series of these projects, and these are just their names. The names sometimes have some specific meaning and sometimes apparently don't. MK Naomi was named after the secretary of one of the guys in the CIA. And the prefix MK apparently designates the division of the CIA that ran these experiments. So there's many of them, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. But they all stop in terms of declassified documents in the early 1970s. All the programs running from then till now are still classified. Was this just some mad scientist in a basement somewhere? This is just a little quick sampling of the institutions that were funded under Bluebird, Artichoke, MKUltra, and other related programs, almost all of them at the top secret clearance level. So these are not obscure institutions. These are the top medical schools and universities in the country. This is a network of doctors who are presidents of the American Psychiatric Association, editors of leading journals, editors of leading books. It's the grandfathers of psychiatry. It's pervasive, it's institutionalized, it's structured, and it involves all the leaders of American psychiatry for the entire second half of the 20th century.
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
Introduce Marshall Mathers. Some of you may know him as Eminem, but he's going to join the Saturday night crew with our music intro starting next Saturday night. But folks, I want to take you to the world premiere of one of his new videos called Berserk. Take a listen. It's headed for the top of the charts. Rick Rubin, who was helping produce that with you, Marshall, when you did that?
Yeah, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks me out a little bit. No. Yes, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Sorry about that. So I just was wondering how everyone's doing. Hello, Courtney. Have we lost you?
All right. It looks like Courtney doesn't really want to go there with
that
question.
I think she's breaking me.
Will someone do the junior high five? It's like this. We're gonna make it real awkward.
That's exactly how
you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll.
That could only be the musical stylings of Victor Oladipo, who is the reigning two-time champion of the All-Star Weekend player talent show.
You are talented. I'll give you a little credit on that. A lot of credit. You're very talented. I mean, you're not a karaoke guy like me, but you can actually. You know they call me Old Brown Eyes, right?
As a matter of fact, you both have experience singing New York, New York. His was at the Slam Dunk Contest. Yours was in Vegas.
Yes.
We had the show out there. Here's just a little sampling.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
I love to do karaoke. That's good, isn't it? You see those two mics back there?
You made up your own words.
You see those?
Wait, that was the words in old New York.
In every way, and I was very proud of him.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren? Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You've had a year that would test a lot of people. Illness in the family. A breakup. This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Brittany. Yeah, it was weird. Ew. I'm embarrassed. Can we?
I don't care about them right now. I want to drive out. Are you going to get out? Oh my God, would you please get out of the way? Now I'm scared you're going to drive off without me. Now get out of the passenger seat. Get out of the car. Get out, get out, get out. Thank you. And you're going to sit right here. Sit down. Thank you. Drive my car. That's what I got to do.
An insight into the world of Britney Spears. This video footage was taken less than 24 hours before the star was taken into hospital. The man at the end of the ear bashing was manager Sam Lufty. The 26-year-old was taken to the UCLA Medical Center by ambulance with a police escort.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Come on.
Gaga, please.
Gaga, please, can you come here?
Gaga.
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 You have one pizza, Gaga, please.
Stop pushing, boys.
Gaga, you got a taste. You have one pizza, please.
Boys, let's back up. Back all the way and get the score. Get a bit closer. You're like an ant. It's on his foot. Stay there. Get back, dude. People, give her space. Fans, she's not going to do anything to you. You've got the last pictures, everyone.
Bye, Gaga.
Well, still wait for that.
I love you.
Lady Gaga.
Guys, get on the flowers now. Get on the flowers. Excuse
stunt. I'm overheated in my costume and I did pass out. But you know what? I'm a champ and I'm back. I want to thank Jerry O'Connell and Dave Mizrajuski. Is that the end of the show? Was I passed out that long?
I go to Hollywood parties or, occasionally I go to Oscar parties and things like that. And people, big stars, people will grab me by the arm and take me aside and say, I just want to thank you for the things you say. And it blows my mind, but that's the culture. It's a culture of fear for sure. And it's a big culture of mind control too. MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
Well, we've talked about Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra mind control stuff this goes back decades and decades. But Roseanne, do you know people have been blacklisted? Is it just kind of a self-censorship in Hollywood, or do people actually get edged out if they are too much against the grain?
Yeah, it's self-censorship after a while, but it's not just a crazy self-censorship. It's self-censorship because there's actually a danger that you will never work again. And people know it. Everybody has friends that it happened to, that maybe you said too much or maybe you were too vocal on unpopular issues. And it's funny because it doesn't matter if 2 years later, I find this a lot, that 2 years later, those unpopular issues become very mainstream. They still don't forgive the first person who does it. And that's kind of been my story there. When you're first, you're, going to be vilified, despite the fact that 2 years later, everybody's saying what you said. You're still going to be vilified because you dared. And, like they say, the Chinese, the Chinese have a myth or a saying that says the nail that stands up is hammered down. And that's how it is here and everywhere in the world.
See, I've been to the mental hospital and back, working for the devil. They didn't think I was going to get out. They had already grabbed shovels. They said there's something wrong with his head. So his career is dead.